my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today is a peace and quilt kind of day. Isn't that a great phrase? It is also the name of the quilt from Celebrate the Quilts that we want to get ready to sew. This is going to be a block of the month, well, blocks of the month to do from the cover quilt on this book. And this is from my friends Lisa Alexander and Susan Aki. So they do fabulous books. They have a lot of information in the books. And I want to tell you a little bit about this quilt along and variations and how you can join in if you haven't already thought about joining in. You should. Okay, so let's first just look at the book a little bit, because it is, my camera is sliding. There we go. The book has so much great information. They pack a lot in. They do a lot of different things with color, and they do a lot of scrappy. Just take a look at this. Look how scrappy, like the reds and the pinks are all different reds and pinks, and it is just so much fun. So they have a lot of different blocks. So the whole thing is sort of block based, and you can see here different colorations to show you, and then they take those blocks. Here's like a basket block. That's a cool basket block, and they show you how to put it together, and they do this all through the thing. Here is one already made up with some of the blocks, and you'll see like all through the front here there are blocks, and then they get to how to create different patterns with. Look at that. So a lot of these are just sort of, I would call like a level up. They're not always sort of easy peasy rank beginner blocks. So if you're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more, there's a little bit smaller pieces for this one, but we're breaking it down, so that makes it great. There's a like a rosebud, but with just two little stars, or two little half square triangles. So then back here, after you get like a lot of block stuff, see more blocks. Look at that. I think that's beautiful. More blocks, and they get to some quilt layouts then. So here is one. Look how gorgeous that is. That chain is amazing. Look at that chain, and then look how scrappy everything is. Take a look at those fabrics. So you can see all different fabrics. So if you have been collecting fabric, who hasn't, right? This might be just some of the quilts that you could make. But we're gonna do the sampler. There's a couple different sort of samplers in this book, which I think is, for the value, just super amazing. This first sampler is of the flag. So there's all different blocks, just incredible. This quilt is incredible. It's all about doing that block. And then there's a sampler of hearts, so it's another one of hearts, and there are some other layouts. Let's see, this one here has a bunch of different blocks. Let me see if I have so you can see there, like a bunch of different blocks in it, and that's what makes this so incredibly fun. There's a layout of it, 4 big blocks with a lot of smaller blocks around it, and here we go. Look how gorgeous. Once again, look at the scrappiness. That's Susan Aki to a T. Okay, but we are going to do this one. This is the one we're doing. And there's a bunch of different size blocks. And what I want to tell you here, let me just look at you for a minute. I asked our ambassador Bobby if she would help me out with this one and help me sew some of them. I also decided I wanted to use one of my friend Joanna's fabric lines, and there's also fabric line you're going to see with the quilt that the Fat Quarter Shop did. So first let me show you the Fat Quarter Shop's version of this. They have this sort of much more blue, white with touches of green, and it's done with a fabric line called Shoreline. I believe there had been a kit. It's showing the kits are not there, but you can get a notify, so I don't know if there'll be more of those in or not. But the fabric is available. So you can get the fabric and then add from what you already have to make it a little bit more scrappy and uniquely you, putting in fabrics that you love. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. I decided I wanted to sort of make one that makes maybe is a little more similar to these colors. And so let me show you that. My friend Joanna Figueroa of Fig Tree Quilts has this new fabric line coming out called, what is it, Jelly and Jam. And so the Fat Quarter Shop colored the pattern and did a digital for me of Jelly and Jam, you know, using Jelly and Jam, which gives a vibe, very much a vibe of the cover quilt. And that fabric is not out yet in the stores, but Moda gets early fabrics, and so they sent me the early fabrics. And Bobby is going to help me sew those blocks, or has been helping me sew those blocks, so I could be prepared. This is one of those that, you know, I'm doing sort of more in advance, and she's helping me with the sewing. So I don't have the physical fabric right here because it's at her house. But I have some blocks, so I'm going to show you some of the blocks so you get an idea of what they're like, because each month you'll do several blocks. You know, it's not just one block a month to do that whole quilt. So let's just take a look at a few of the blocks. Like I mentioned, there are different sizes. So this, I grabbed out one of the bigger blocks, and Joanna's fabrics have this peach, that green, the reds. It is just a beautiful fabric. If you own some of Joanna Figueroa's other fabric lines, they would most likely work just as beautifully. They can also intermix a lot. So this is one of the bigger blocks. And then here is another size. Look at this one. Gorgeous. I love her green. She kind of has this signature green, and she's got this taupe in her line. So we have that. Because a bunch of the other blocks I pulled then have a lot of green. So here are some of the stars. You know, who doesn't? Quilters love stars. Don't we love stars? So there's two different style of stars. Then there's a block that's real similar to the one we were just doing in, I think this is like a traditional Jacob's Ladder format, but it's pretty much like the block we just did for What's in Your Closet. Mine had the dark facing in here, but it's smaller. Mine's a huge piece. This is a small piece. And Joanna's fabrics, she has several large prints, but a lot of the prints are this a little bit smaller scale, which will lend itself to these blocks that are a bit smaller. Then there's a bunch of little shoe fly blocks in here, which are just so gorgeous, so gorgeous. So you can see here, this block that I pulled just on the cover, let me show you. It is, can we get everything in here? Okay, it is that block. Do you see? That's the same block. Nice, right? Super nice. And then here's like the little shoe fly that's around that one. And there's this center. So you get an idea of what they're going to look like. So I wanted to show you that because I know that a lot of you will pick fabrics you love to do a sampler like this. And it's nice because this is, you know, like a 12-month thing, I think. Whatever it says on my project page. I forget. I didn't look it up. But it's, you know, it's monthly. And so I think you will really enjoy this book, enjoy this sew along. So I am excited to sew along with them. And yeah, we can put this one together too as we go because we have the book. We have the pattern, everything. So we can be assembling as we go, which is, you know, my favorite thing in the world to do. All right, so let's look at a few other things for this Thursday. So I almost have the Oh My Stars table runner done. So I just have to, of course I'm showing you the piece that's not done, which is that border. So here is the rest. The one thing I'm debating on is, do I put another row out here, or will it be like so close to the binding that it doesn't matter? I am going to not do it. My brain wants to do it, but I'm going to not do it and then put the binding on. And if for some reason I feel like it's too wide of a space, which I don't think it'll be, but if it is, I can just go in and do another row, even though it's quilted, because there's no hanging sleeve or anything on the table runner. So let me stand back. So here we go. There we go. And this has got sort of that Easter fabric. Now I told you that I took all of the sew-in flips and I sewed them up and trimmed them. So they are here. This is all the sew-in flips from that table runner. So cute, right? So what do I do with this? I could sew these into a block, but then I thought, you know, I still have pieces of that layer, because I ended up with a layer cake I was working with, because that just happened. I don't know why I didn't buy a charm pack of that cute fabric, but I bought a layer cake. And so, you know, that's the way we all do, don't we? So I thought, Okay, so that's kind of, this is kind of blues and blues. I'm looking at blue and saying blue, but I mean greens and purple. And so I did use a lot of the greens and purple, so they aren't really available anymore. And so I could use something with pink. I could do something just with the bunnies like this. But what I'm thinking is I could make some cute mug rugs. You can make some cute mug rugs. Just take a square of this, however big I want it to be, just to mock it up. Let's look. What if I did, you know, 4 of them, 4 by 4. So if I did a 4 by 4, there we go. And, you know, everything overlaps some, so it's got to be a little bit squished up, right? Just kind of overlap it so you get that feel of it being, you know, being the right size. But if I did that, I don't know why that's not going in. And then I fussy cut this. It could be the same size. It could be a bigger rectangle. Why is that not? Okay, there. You could do something like this, which I think would be so darling, right? Wouldn't that be darling? Now, one thing here is I've got a lot of the green and purple. What if I switched out a couple so they're not quite so dark? You know, what if I did that? Oops, I need something else here. Okay, so there. That would be so darling. So I could do a little mug rug, and that's like what? 3 by 4. Oh, that's crazy. I don't need 3 by 4. 3 by 3. There, that's 9. And then, you know, if you were going to make this and do a table runner, you could actually, you know, you have enough other of these that you could do a set of them. Maybe you'd have to make, you know, another couple. I don't know. But yeah, I think it would be really cute. I'm going to make at least one. And just, I can use it as like a little accent, right? Just a little celebration and put it by my computer just so I have it. So that is, okay, so that's one little side project that I need to sew those together and then get that little guy quilted. Now, my moving my quilts around hasn't happened yet. Probably I'm going to be till the end of the month. I'll probably put the table runner. I don't know if I even get it done by Easter, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get it done by Easter. It's just, you know, anyway, things just, I'm just not in the mood to do it. And then, yeah. Okay, what else I got? What else do I have? Joy, joy, joy. I have all 3 joy done. Let me show you the kitty one first. This is from Christmas All Year. This is the quilt along, a sampler we're doing with Wendy Shepherd's book, which many of you had because we did a quilt along of the Scrappy Christmas trees. It was Christmas tree in a star. And so this is a sampler from the book. So yeah, so cute, aren't they? I love them. All right, what I'm gonna do is get a bit of sashing fabrics for what's in your closet, and we can audition some of those together, because that way then I can sew those on there and get it off the design wall. So that is my goal. Okay, gonna get that fabric out next. Before we do the sashing, I got in these just now in the mail. Cloth Biddies, Fat Quarter Shop sent them to me. They're things, they make all these different gadgets and things that are just awesome. And here they are. They are magnetic, flexible hoops. Yes, they're magnetic and they're quite good. So the magnet, you know, you can just put something and wrap it around. Think about like a rubber band, but 10 times better or 100 times better. And then look at the cuteness. Do you see the heart? Whoops. There we go. The heart in like a little cross stitch hoop. So I mean, you could wrap fabric bundles, but I have the cross stitch, which is just, I was just thinking the other day, I need to get something like that. So I have got just 2 of my houses stitched. Okay, before I go on, I've got 2 houses stitched for the temperature, and I have all the things written down for this month of March, but have not stitched any of it yet. But I pressed all the wrinkles out of this thing and trimmed it down because that's the way I am. And now, see, you just put these around so that I can store it, and it's, you know, lovely. There we go. So there's 2 in a pack. And I was thinking you could actually, like if you had like a layer cake and you wanted to roll it, and you could, these are, they're a bit stretchy, so if you needed to, you know, pull it a little bit more for a thicker bundle of fabric, or wanted to wrap it more than once for something. For the cross stitch, I don't really want to wrap it more than once, but you can see here that it definitely can do that. So if you had like a thinner item, you can wrap it around twice like that. Okay, so there we go. There we go. All right, so we are going, let me just put this away. So I've got that much done. This is how much we have. And I want to do all these sashing pieces. And I'm thinking I want to do them in the lights, not bring in the darks, just keep it very light. And so that means going here to pick out things that are lighter. Like this is the one that the checkerboard's done with, which I think is just perfect for that. I've got, okay, what else? Okay, there we go. So I've got this medallion here. I've got the light blue. I've got these browns, and then another light blue. That's kind of a medium blue, but I think it's still lighter than bringing in like the black and the darker ones. And then I've got these three lights. And so I'm thinking that this is what, yeah, there's also this one, which is the tan version of that. Okay, so so I've got tans and blues. Now it's basically tan, blue, and black is the drawing room. That's the colors. There's a bit of gold in here, but a little pale yellow in these, which you could read as, you know, that color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll look at the colors up here. Oh, I've got a checkerboard in there. Oh my, I forgot about that. And that checkerboard will be the same as this one. I already made that checkerboard down there. Although I'm going to have to pick it apart. I made it for, look at this. I made my checkerboard down here with a square in the middle. I wasn't looking. I was just going, oh, I just glanced down and went like checkerboard all the way across. Okay, so I've got to take that apart. So I've got 2 pieces. And then that one square, and I have a couple others, so I need to get that done. They'll be all the same. So that's already figured out. So be underneath here, this is a more brown, and that's more, you know, so what I'm gonna do, okay. So you see the colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips, because a lot of the strips are 2.5 inches wide. There's one that's 3 inches. There's a lot that are 2.5. And some are, you know, you have to look at each one to see what I said. But I'm going to cut up some of the strips and then just set them up there and have the other camera out. So then we can kind of look at some colorations. Maybe I'll do a couple mock-ups and get a feel for what it looks like before I actually sew it, and then I can change any around. Don't forget, when you get to the end, I was cutting 2.5 inch squares, and there's the fold. Don't forget to open these, because that's probably, see, it's big. So 2.5 inches, get the ruler around. Yeah, so I have another 2 squares. So don't just, you know, take this and go, oh, in the scrap bag. You know, open it up and see what you got, because you got another square, There we go. What do you think? It just helps not to have that up there taking your attention away. So what I did is I leaned a bit heavy on the blues. I did put the light tan, the cream here, and then I tossed in, now these are only going to be 1 inch wide when done, and I don't even know what I'm using in that block yet, but I thought, you know, I wanted to bring a little bit of that pattern in there, and I definitely want to repeat this medallion-y kind of thing in another spot, but we have, of course, all over here that it can be, whoops, I keep running into the table, that it can go into. Yeah, so I'm not positive I like that cream up there, but I'm leaving it for right now because I want to bring that lightness and keep all the sashings light. And there's, you know, and try to not make it look all blue, you know, bring in those other colors. And one of the interesting things too is that I really like to repeat. So of course I'm repeating that checkerboard, the same fabrics everywhere, but I repeated this blue in both those spots, and then I brought it down here again. And just like I will take this medallion and repeat it 2 other times, do things in odd numbers, 3, 6, 9. And of course, these fabrics are all used within the blocks as well, but they give a much different visual effect when they're sashing and they're strips. So I want to be sure to balance that out. And you know, personally, I'm like thinking, oh, maybe I'll take all the tans out and just do all the sashings in blue. But I think that might not work as well as I would hope. Because there is a lot of tan and black that's in the blocks, and I want to sort of mimic that in the sashings. So there you go. That's what I'm going to be sewing. So I didn't like that light up there. I switched them to put the tan there and the lighter up there, but now I'm not sure about that. So I'm going to take this blue and yellow, which is here, and repeat it across the top. Oh yes, that is much better. Much better. Okay, and I like the darker one there. Okay, all right, I think that might be it. So there we go, getting sashing auditioned. I will be sewing it up over the next hours, evening. And I also hope that you will join me on the Piece and Quilt from the Celebrate with Quilts book. This is a fantastic book, so I hope you pick it up. Links are in the description box below under the video. So open that up and take a look at what's in there. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.